Welcome to Rise and Shine. I am Vuyanzi. In the book of Corinthians, it says that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Now, let's talk today about the outward appearance of that temple. How do you look at the temple? How do you adorn the temple? What is your image and how are you personally branding your temple? Today, I am so excited to have these two wonderful guests who will have this conversation with us about style, fashion, and personal brand over 40. So get your friends, call your friends who are over 40. Ladies, get your husbands, get your man over 40, and let's talk about style today. So the way I like to start this off is Violet, Derek, you both work in personal branding, personal image, right? And you both talk about nurturing and elevating personal brand. I want you to tell us who you are and why this topic is even important in the first place. I'm going to start with you, Violet.
My name is Violet Triungo. I'm a woman over 40.
Hey.
I run my own agency. It's called Terracotta Moon. I've been in business for about 15 years. I'm a creative and I'm very passionate about creativity. I'm very artsy, and I like everything that has volume and depth and color. So when I heard that there was this opportunity to talk about, personal branding and what people should wear after 40, I was like, let me see what I can dish out there. I wear many hats. I'm also an emotional intelligence coach with Derek here. So it's all about your sensitivities and how you navigate your sensitivities, your feelings, and how people perceive you, how you feel is most important, and the clarity with which you do life is so important. So I'm a giver. I believe that anybody starts a business, if you're doing it for profit, I think you'll close down after a week. But if you do it because you want to help people, whether it's your clients or the team that you work with, that is the essence of why I would define I started a business, to help people. So I'm excited. I hope I can be of inspiration today. I hope I can be of, I can share just whatever little bit I know and make a difference in somebody's life, especially my fellow sisters.
Violet, already your introduction has been inspiring.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that. Derek, I'm going to turn to you. Who are you? And why is it even important for us to talk about this today?
It's great to be here, Vuyanzi. Studies and research have shown that 55% of how we perceive people is through the lens, the filter of what somebody is either wearing or their body language, is what your eyes can see. We see how you hold your shoulders, we see how you sit, we see how you stand, we also see what you're wearing, colors and things, and some of the stuff we're going to get into today. So that is something that you can help yourself. It's almost like low-hanging fruit. And by the way, Vuyanzi, we're going to have this conversation. It's not about buying the most expensive thing, but it's about being able to use perhaps that knowledge of how colors work, of how fit works, of how fabric works, to create an impression that's going to help you. Now, I work with professionals, as I said, of all stripes, but listen, you don't have to be working in an office. You might want to make a fantastic impression at a wedding. So help yourself to help yourself.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what I do. I help people help themselves.
Yeah, I love that. And even your introduction too. I'm already excited about where this conversation is headed. I mean, one of the things you said, I heard you say, Derek, to be seen, heard, and remembered.
Yes.
And that's going to lead us right into the next part of this conversation, right? Because there's these misconceptions about when you're over 40, tone it down. Tone it down a little bit. You know, I'm making a face. So like, So let's begin to talk about these misconceptions, and I hope viewers get the pens and the papers out because this can change somebody's life today. I do believe that this can change someone's life today. So let's first talk about the misconceptions. Violet, start us off with, and you introduced yourself as a woman over 50. So
Yes.
what are these misconceptions about dressing and over 40 and personal brand and style?
Most women are struggling with things like, I'm going to be honest, weight.
Yes, yes.
You're struggling with career. You're struggling with family. You're struggling with seasons that are happening in your life. And this might also affect how you dress. There's also how we are trained to dress professionally, which I call adopting the European style of dress. And I find that as you're getting older, the more you drape, the more confident you are.
Okay, I'm going to have to interrupt you because you said the more you what?
Drape. Draping.
So we need to take an informational minute here so you can explain to people what it means to drape.
Okay, basically draping helps you to cover your flaws as a woman. You want attention to go to, like Derek was saying, to the right places. African women are usually a little bit well endowed. And if you're a professional woman, you want to be basically what we call the focus is on your passport, you know, kwenda passport, you know.
The passport picture, gotcha.
Yeah, the passport kwenda juu. But also what you have wearing underneath that, your whole persona is something that you should, take on, as your day-to-day, style. I find that we have been conditioned to dress in the European way. What I say when I say European is our body shapes are not as slender as Black women, slender, tall. Like I said, we tend to be a little bit more voluptuous as African women. And I find the longer your look, the more elegant an older woman looks. The more loose fitting your outfit, the more elegant you look. You play around with your necklines, your sleeves and your lengths, and you exude confidence, a woman of valor and confidence.
So, Val, I'm going to interrupt you for a moment because you're kicking the door on more stuff here because I do want to get into exactly what you're talking about. When you're talking about the older women, but what are some of the people are thinking that how they should dress versus what is the reality of it?
Like I said, there's what we call the European template of dress, and then there's the African template of dress. The European template of dressing is more the skirt suits, the official wear. And I'm saying no, you can play around with that and do a lot of Ankara outfits or do a lot of boo-boos and loose-fitting dresses.
Got it.
Yeah, they are forgiving. I call them forgiving dresses. Again, because as you get older, your body keeps on changing. And the more you place outfits that are loose-fitting, they're easier to wear, they're faster to wear. Your palette should be a bit more on the, you can wear bright colors, but if you can go a little bit on the more subdued colors, your blacks, your grays, your navy blues, maybe a pop of red once in a while, depending on where you're going, and also dressing for wherever it is you're going, you must be comfortable. Length matters, comfort matters, If things are a little bit tight on you, then stop wearing tight clothes, Go loose. So basically what I feel is that women over 40 should try a little bit and go a little bit loose on their dressing. Yeah? Avoid very tight-fitting clothes if your body does not conform to it. The looser you go, the better for you, the more comfortable you will breathe. We want you to breathe and to be comfortable, my sister.
Okay.
Yes.
Derek, build on that.
Yeah.
The misconceptions.
Beyonce. God made man and woman in his image, and that image was perfect. We were made as attractive, beautiful, handsome, filling
Exactly.
the adjective or the verb.
Yes.
Now, over the course of history, man, woman have done certain things to themselves where, let's just say that we are paying for our sins. And those multitude of sins, so whether it is body shape, whether it is how we present ourselves, and it is our duty to get back, I think, to that image that God has intended. I gave a TEDx talk called The Science of Beauty, and I made the case as to why the more attractive you are, the more successful you will be in any sphere. Now, when people hear that word attractive, that triggers saying, what is attractive to you? But I'll tell you this. For the woman above the age of 40, we're looking at three things. Fit, fabric, and function. I'm going to break it down like that.
Shoot, break it down.
So fit, right? As I've said, we may be covering a multitude of sins, the price we pay for living in the modern world. It is up to you as a woman above the age of 40. And by the way, there's nothing like age appropriate. It is, in my estimation, revolves around those three things. Whatever body shape you have, there are certain clothes that you can wear that, as you said, can draw your attention to certain parts, accentuate the positive, and draw the attention away from the parts that perhaps you don't want focused on.
Yes.
And that's something that anybody can do. And in the variety of all the clothes that are there, including colors, there are certain things that you can wear that enhance that. And that's just knowledge that I think every woman above the age of 40 should have. Fabric. Now, when I talk about fabric, it's really about the quality of the pieces. Now, no, this is not about buying the most expensive pieces, but it's about having or wearing certain items of clothing or mixing certain items of clothing. You're mixing leather with other items that you have out there, and that combination of that fabric and texture can also make you more attractive, as I said, right? My premise is that we want to be as how our Maker created us. So that's a fabric. And being aware that you can look for certain fabrics that work well with whatever you have going on versus other fabrics. And then finally, function. What is appropriate for the occasion? What is appropriate for a professional occasion? What's appropriate for the thing? If you're on the beach and you are wearing heels and full-on makeup, that is clearly not appropriate. So what that statement really means is about having the self-awareness to know this is the event that I am going for. This is the impression that I want to make. This is how I would like to be seen when I walk into that room or that party, whatever it is. And let me then make a choice in terms of what I'm going to wear that is going to enhance certainly my personal brand. Maybe if I had the self-awareness to know, all right, this is a cocktail event. Who's going to be there? What kind of impression do I want to make? What would be appropriate for that audience? Now, style is a very personal thing for a lot of people. And there are certain sort of, not necessarily rules, but guidelines that, again, you want to be aware of. There is no defense under the law that says I was ignorant of that particular law. You will still be prosecuted. And so, the same token, people will look at you and they will make those judgments if you fail to meet those guidelines. So first of all, I think particularly for women who are above the age of 40, this is actually the time for you to embrace sort of your creativity. Be willing to even push the envelope and not necessarily conform, whether it's the Western standards and things like that, and bring your own personal stamp. You have made a certain mark on the world. You've been on the earth 40 years plus. So I think it's appropriate also for you to dress to show people that you have made something of yourself and not to be a retiring, shy wallflower. You're not dressing as a new hire walking to an organization. You've been on this earth for a certain amount of time. You've made your mark in the world. And again, I'm using these generalizations, but I kind of, particularly for your audience, to realize that, yeah, bring your own personal style. So I'll say there's that little bit of self-awareness.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
yes.
So you, first of all, I'm going to get some letters after those statements. Some comments below, and I'm here for it. But I do want to go back to something because you talked about attractive people. Say what that was.
The more attractive you are, the more successful you will be.
Now, people are going to hear this, right? And they're going to be like, oh, that's so shallow. Or some people are going to say, I don't want to be based on my attractiveness,
Yes.
or, know what's in my heart, know what's in my mind. But Derek, I'm staying with you just for a moment. You got to talk about that a little bit more when it comes to attractiveness and what that actually means.
Yeah. On the surface, it might seem a superficial statement. But if you pick it apart a little bit, what we're saying is that you're displaying the best version of yourself. Actually, that's the definition of authenticity. Authenticity is the best version of yourself. And the best version of yourself, if you're wearing clothes that are not suited to your body type, then you are, by definition, not at your most attractive. This is not about your cheekbones, okay, or how big your eyes are, or those metrics in terms of conventional things of wisdom. It's about taking what the good Lord has given you and what you have either accumulated or over the past 40 years or so, and saying to yourself, all right, well, I'm going to present a version of myself that is going to show me at my best. And that's exactly what I mean. There is a certain way that you need to present yourself even on a day off, like a Sunday, when you're in public. And then secondly, it's yourself. What are you telling yourself by what you are wearing if it's not appropriate for that occasion of going out and having a family meal at a restaurant? There has to be an intentionality every time you get up and leave it. And I will go as far as saying, even if you're rushing to the kiosk to grab some milk and come back, I've been guilty of that. I'm just going to go for 2 seconds, and then those 2 seconds you meet somebody says, Derek, what are you wearing? I'm like,
so I'm going to stop
Yes.
you just right there for a second. Violet, I got to get you in on this because I'm looking at you and I know you have some thoughts. Go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Well, what is it? As you're getting older, what is it? You've been working all this time. Honey, some executive presence is needed here. How are you presenting yourself? You have to look the part. You have to. You have to walk into a room. Like they say, 51% of our communication is nonverbal. Even before you open your mouth, people are perceiving you. How are they perceiving you? What are the adjectives they are? And it starts from your dress. How you undress for me is also just a little bit of makeup will not hurt anybody. Cover your flaws.
We had a beauty industry episode.
Yes. I mean, dressing is not just about the clothes only. It's everything from the hair to your jewelry to your statement pieces. And as you're getting older, go buy one thing that is really a statement piece and wear it forever. That's what it is. A simple goes a long way. You'll never go wrong with a black dress. Your little black dress. And as you get older, the little black dress perhaps should just hit you just right above the knee. Just right, not any shorter than that if you're older. You're just showing the things that matter, that leg, the things that matter, it's like a sneak peek, As you're getting older, that is what it should be. Everything should be a sneak peek, Avoid necklines that are very low as you get older. Go a little bit higher, but then, you can put on a statement piece like this brochure. It will just accentuate the right things. Dark colors for older women look much better than brighter colors because it exudes confidence, clarity. You're clear. You're clear who you are. I'm clear. I'm clear. This is my essence. So that should show in how you dress. You have to have that clarity, the confidence.
Okay. What if there are some women who've given up? Let's say some of them are like, I didn't look like this 20 years ago. Look at me now. How do we, and now I'm going to speak to you both as coaches,
Yes.
but also as personal branding people.
Yeah.
But how do we begin to shift that idea of what now is confidence in 40 plus world versus, I used to look like this in my 20s and 30s, like, XYZ, but now they're in ABC. Talk to me. How do we shift the confidence?
Well, if it's not working, just change the wardrobe. Change it. Change it. If you put on weight, change the wardrobe. Change it. Go looser, go, like I said, drape a little bit more. You will find that when your fabric is flowing, there's a confidence that it exudes. Derek talked about the heel. The heel. Wear a comfortable heel. Maybe you might not be able to pull off a stiletto heel, but there are comfortable chunky heels, and I've seen them in fashion now. Chunky heels are in fashion. Learn how to walk. Learn where to wear your heel. What's the distance? Sometimes you just need to get into a room for that moment, make your statement, and people are saying, who is that woman? Who is that woman? So lengths matter, color matters, how your neckline looks matters. You can cover up but still look, sensual. Less is more. Less is more. Straighter lines, wear clothes that are maybe A-line.
Yes, straighter
A-line.
lines. Okay.
Yeah, A-line, those suit older women as opposed to what we call bodycon dresses. Maybe they might not look to, like again I said, African women are a little bit well endowed. So if you can get attention just to the right spots on your body, you will have the confidence, and your purpose will be fulfilled, and things will happen for you.
Wow.
Things will happen for you. People will like you. People want to talk to you a little bit more. People are drawn to things that look good, Everything is visual. It's optics. So, you're playing around with these things. And like Derek said, you don't need to break the bank. You just need to have what they call statement pieces in your wardrobe. Statement pieces. Yes.
Statement pieces.
Yes.
And Derek, I'm going to ask you to come in give me about a minute's worth of that. Yeah.
So confidence is an interesting thing. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do you buy the clothes when you're confident, or do you gain confidence by wearing particular clothes? I'm going to quickly break it down and use what I call the cash formula. So number one is knowledge. Equip yourself with the knowledge. We're in the digital age. You can go online. So many experts who are out there who can talk about certain things that you can wear that are appropriate for your particular, area. Number two in the cash formula, so it's cash with a K, is attitude. And that attitude really starts about looking at yourself as I alluded to earlier. You're made in the image of God. God made you to be beautiful and attractive and be the best version of yourself. And once you have that positive attitude, then I think the confidence will follow. S is for skills. So it's about developing the skills. You're not used to wearing heels. You might not wear heels for a particular reason, but a lot of people a lot of women, I should say, perhaps don't wear heels. It's just because they're not used to it. But if you wear it once, it's just like wearing a tie for men or suits. I'm used to wearing suits, so it's second nature. Start small. There are a plethora of heels, as Violet said, that you can start. And I'm not saying you have to wear heels, but just using that as an example. So start the skill of dressing in a certain way, getting statement pieces and so on and so forth. And then the H, let it become a habit. So it's about the consistency. And then once you're consistent, whether you're dressing on a Sunday or a Monday, you're going to a barbecue or you're going to a high-end gala dinner, there is something intentional about how you put yourself together and how people perceive you. Perception is reality.
Oh my goodness, we are enjoying this conversation. This is Rise and Shine. If you are not making a comment within the comment section across our social media, why aren't you joining the conversation yet? This conversation is heated, it is hot, it is great. There's so much knowledge being dropped. So join the conversation and we will continue it on the other side of the break.
We are living in a lost and broken world, constantly bombarded by messages of hate and atrocities. But with God, we can overcome. Find hope and restoration on the go through life-changing shows on the Family Media app.
And then you will lose yourself and gain the world. And Jesus said, what good is it?
Get to stream Family TV and Family Radio straight from your phone. Catch up on a show you missed or create video streaming playlists by saving and watching videos from our huge variety of shows at your own convenience. Download the Family Media app, available for all Android and iOS users on the Google Play Store and Apple Store, respectively.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine. If you're just joining the conversation, where you been? Basically, I want to make sure I hear what you're thinking about our conversation today. What is being said that resonates with you? What are you learning? What are you taking away? So we are continuing this. Now, I want to shift a bit to how we begin to find our personal style. Like, is it, or anyone watching and listening, is it a personality thing, or how do we begin to find it? So, Violet, I'm coming back to you.
Okay, it's very simple. If you have a particular body type and you want to emulate somebody, or you want to get some inspiration and change your look, then I say beg, borrow, steal. You know, just get your inspiration from women that you admire and you want to look like. That's one way. We borrow. There's nothing new under the sun, like they say. You ask people, where did you get something if you feel it looks good on them? Women are very willing to share where they get their things from. Where did you get that dress from? Where did you get that bag from? Where did you get that shoe from? Don't be too shy to ask for referencing if you really admire something and you like the way it looks on someone. However, understanding your personality and understanding your body type especially is very, very important. And they say what you wear inside is going to project what you have on the outside. I think for women, you understand what that means.
Okay.
Just wearing the right things inside will accentuate what you have outside. So for women over 40, like I keep saying, less is more. Less is more. One piece, but it's a statement piece. Well stitched, well covering up just the right places. You find, for me personally, as I got older, I find I do not want to show my arms anymore. So I wear a lot of long-sleeved clothes, but I will look for clothes that are comfortable, that have a stretch, because again, that also brings about your confidence and your clarity on where are you going. If you're going hiking, we have so many options here in Kenya. Please wear the right clothes to go hiking. Mm-hmm. You know, get the right gear to go hiking. Mitumba imejaa kila mahali. You know, there's
what does that
second-hand
mean?
clothes all over. There's help. There's help out here.
So wait a minute, 1 second.
Yeah.
This is, I'm hearing you say a few things.
Yes.
When people are trying to figure out their style, you're saying they can actually look around them,
Yes.
because that's something almost we shy away from as we
Yes.
get older. Like we don't want to compare ourselves, but you're saying to borrow.
You can borrow. Mm-hmm. You can borrow.
Okay. So we're saying that.
Yeah. Beg, borrow, or steal. Mm-hmm. We have the confidence to say that I think that woman has my type of body and I like the way she dresses and I want to emulate it. However, give it your own spice, give it your own twist, you know. But comfort. And comfort for an older woman is equal to confidence. You have to be comfortable.
And I'm hearing something else, though, too.
Yes.
Knowing who you are.
Knowing who you are, your essence.
Because you're reflecting that
exactly
outside.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm hearing this. Derek built on this. How do we begin to choose our style?
Style, personality. Let me give a practical tip to all the ladies out there. Start by taking a wardrobe safari.
Right.
You have been accumulated all of these clothes over the past 40 years. Start going through your closet looking at the pieces that you wear. The one that you bought 4 years ago on that trip and you've never looked at it again because it was a good idea when you were in the store, and now that you're back from vacation, you're like, I don't think so, or your body has changed.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women would do themselves a favor by beginning to cull their wardrobe. And what I mean by that, obviously, is remove the pieces that you don't wear, donate them, give them to your cousins, whatever the case might be. Look at then what is left. And then take a style personality test, which is available in whatever form you want to.
Wow.
Online.
So wait 1 second.
Yeah.
Style personality test.
Yes.
So someone could Google this and find this.
There's so many tests, I wouldn't even recommend one. And find out, you can even take a couple, more than one, and find out, are you refined, are you rugged, are you rakish? I mean, these are all terms based on the type of test that you take. So do the wardrobe safari, take the test, and then begin to build on that information. Pieces that suit you. I mean, obviously, style is a personal thing. But there is information out there for people who do this for a living that can guide you in the right direction. And then I love the idea, if you see somebody, I get my style inspiration from people that I admire and how I see them, either online or in magazines. And that looks good. I will try it. And some days you might wake up and wear something and people are like, I don't know about that. And then you're like, okay, maybe that doesn't work. It's okay to make some of those mistakes, but you have to make a little bit of effort. And finally, I'm just going to say this, Vianzi. There is no end point. This is not a race that has a finish.
Yeah.
Style evolves. Trust me. I used to be a three-piece suit person for many years. And the pandemic happened, and I switched to a little bit more business casual, if that is a so-called term. So my style evolves also based on where I am, what season I'm in, the type of people that I meet, the inspiration that I get from other people that I admire. I think the greatest sin is not doing anything and being stuck in a rut and saying to yourself, you know what, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't care. So start by that. Go through your wardrobe and see what speaks to you.
It's funny how you're saying this, right? You're actually saying the first step of changing really building your style is to eliminate what's already there, to actually get rid of these things.
I think the people have paralysis by analysis because you go in there and you have 1,000 dresses in there or 1,000 choices. And then you're stuck and you're like, can I try this? Can I try? And then you just stick to the one or two that you've been wearing the entire time. So a lot of times, if you have fewer choices to make, then you're able to now combine them in various ways or find a certain style palette or personality that speaks to you. And then you can build on that. Actually, I will take quality over quantity anytime. It's not the number of dresses that you have in your closet. It's actually, as I said, the quality, the fabric, the ones that will you're able to mix and match. They can fit in various environments. That's usually how you can discover your style personality.
Wow. Okay. So you mentioned a couple of things, and I'm not going to ask you to go through it all, but you said about with the personality, the style personality test, you're rugged or this or that. Right. Just give us just a little taste of what some of those examples are so people even understand how things are labeled and how they're defined.
Well, I would say a rugged, and by the way, this is for men and for women. Rugged is perhaps a little bit more casual. You don't do sort of the corporate look, the more professional look. You involve a lot of maybe casual pieces or a lot of statement pieces or a lot of the boots that you ladies are wearing. So you're not the stiletto heels type of person. That might be your rugged personality. And again, there's a series of questions that ask you, and then that you come up with that personality. Now, rakish is somebody who's a little bit more stylish.
What is it, rakish?
Rakish, R-A-K-I-S-H.
Wow.
Now, that is, you are the person who loves to wear color. You have the flamboyant hairstyle. You go all out with the jewelry. You love to wear daring pieces and things like that. So you're a little bit more rakish. Maybe that's your style personality. So, and again, that's just one test. There's several tests that you can take to help discover, because most people don't know what they don't know. But if somebody can sort of, and you have sort of a roadmap, and by taking that test, it sort of lays out, well, this is your style personality. These are the pieces you should try and get. This is what you should be wearing. This is the type of makeup that accompanies those pieces. Then you begin to develop perhaps your own style personality.
Well, do you want to add to that?
Oh. Hey, do you know Derek has acronyms for everything? So I'm like, so when I dress like that, I'm rakish. So when I'm raggedy, you know.
It's rugged. R-U, not R-A-R-U. Rugged,
rugged.
meaning a little bit.
Hardy and
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So we're building this out. We're discovering our personality. You know what's coming up for me? Go ahead.
I just think this whole dressing thing is just boils down to confidence. Knowing who you are is so
Sounds
important.
like you're a coach.
You have to really know who you are and then start building your confidence. The rest will fall in place. If you're whiny and you're always speaking in negativity, I don't think, even if you were dressed in whatever it is that you want to emulate, it will not pop. So your essence as a person, are you happy? What are those things people say about you? You look confident, you look strong, you look, I want to be like her.
Yeah.
What makes most people want other people to be like her? It's basically confidence.
So you've
And being sure of yourself. What is going on here? Well, basically what I'm trying to say is we joke with some of my friends and we say, you can even rock a lesso.
a lasso?
A lesso, lesso, the lesso, kanga.
Okay.
You can rock it. A drape.
Yeah.
The lesso, kanga, kikoi.
Yes.
A Maasai blanket.
Yes.
If you do not have confidence and you do not have a style essence, if two women were to wear it and one has confidence and the other doesn't.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with that, Violet, but I think there's also what I call the halo effect.
Yes.
Right? So I'll just give, again, just a short anecdote. Experiment was done.
Yes.
2 people were given white lab coats, all right? And they were asked to perform on a test. I think it was a written test. One person, same white lab coat, one person was told that this is a doctor's coat. The other person was told this is a painter's coat or a painter's smock. Guess what the results were, Vuyanzi? And you don't have to be
The
a
doctor
nuclear
flew
physicist
attire.
to figure out who scored better on that test.
Yes.
It was simply about what the person was wearing led to their performance. That's the halo effect. If you're wearing pieces, so whether it's a kanga,
Yes.
that makes you feel like you are on top of the world, then
Yes.
the chances are you will go out there and you'll be a little bit more confident.
Yes.
With a little bit of pep in your step, your shoulders will be back.
Yeah.
You'll talk with a little bit more confidence,
Yeah.
right? But that's the effect that these garments have on us. I mean, it is no coincidence that even women, that day of the month, if you wear certain clothes that have certain colors,
Yes.
perhaps the feelings are muted. Let me use it that way. And I mean, this research has been done over the years. There's a direct link between what you wear and how you perform. So for me, what I wear, and especially in terms of if you're a lady who is going out there and you've reached a certain vintage or maturity, there is a certain impression that you want to make every time you leave the house.
Yes.
And if you put clothing at the bottom of the list of priorities, then you might be doing yourself a disservice.
And like I said also, it's not just dressing, it's the hair. It's the hair.
It's
One of the
combination,
things that I feel we're doing as African women is I like the way we have embraced our Afrocentricity. You're seeing more natural women rocking short hair, women, wearing dreads, women doing natural hairdos, women doing a lot of wraps, and now wraps are even allowed in the workplace. As you get older, you find you don't have time really for styling your hair, so it starts from the crown to the bottom, from the crown to the bottom, and like we're saying, comfort is very, very important. Statement pieces, like Derek is saying, go and vet your wardrobe. Go vet it, and remove things that no longer suit your age. There are things that no longer suit your age. A crop top, maybe you can rock it in a certain way. If it's very, very loose, you will look very fantastic after 40. But I think you know what I'm saying. You can wear a crop top that's 40 plus, and then there's a crop top that's not your age, just to keep in trend and in style. So for me, I think dressing starts from your head. It starts from your head. It starts from it's up to how your gait, how you strut, how you walk, is very important. Confidence. You go sort out what's happening in your mind, and you just find a lot of things will just fall into place. My fellow sisters,
So right here, because this word confidence.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you both for a moment, because in this business that you're in of public image, personal branding, and we're talking about confidence, if we can deviate for a moment, and I'm going to ask you both if you could give, and I don't know if Derek has an acronym for it, but just a couple of steps to boosting confidence. Because this all plays into everything that we are talking about today. So Derek, just a couple of steps. How does a woman begin to boost her confidence?
Vianzi, for me, I think confidence begins with having certain routines. It really starts in the morning. You can wake up in the morning and say, I'm just going to roll over and grab another half an hour sleep. Or you can get up in the morning, have a glass of water, not check your WhatsApp messages, do a little bit of exercise. I think a lot of things like confidence, which is, maybe it's a little difficult to say, okay, so what comes first? As I said before, is it the confidence that comes first or the clothes? But to me, it's actually either physically moving your body, saying your affirmations in the morning, doing your meditations, saying your prayer. For me, and I think for a lot of your audience, that's how you start building confidence in the morning. And then you grab the outfit because you have boosted your mood.
Exactly.
You have done the prerequisite morning routines to help you start the move. And then the outfit now is a portrayal of how you feel on inside. So that's what I'm going to leave you
Just to add on to that, in design, we have something we call the threes: head, body, and your feet. Three. There's a balance about the three: your head, your body, and your feet. And like Derek is saying, when you write it down, it happens. I find when you write things down, even just a word, gratitude is also a place, just waking up every day and just having 3 things that you're grateful for. Maybe you can be grateful for something in the morning, another one in the afternoon, and another one in the evening. So these things will boost a lot of these things that we're talking about. And like Derek is also saying, which one comes first? The confidence or, So I think the things that you feed your mind, and if you're in a position of leadership because you're the source of inspiration, sometimes you're broken and you're banged up, but man, you have to always show up right. Because everybody is perceiving you and taking you in and saying, this is our leader. And our leader inspires us. And our leader shows us the way. And our leader gives us the confidence that we can do whatever it is that we need to do. And that starts with dressing, how you dress. So how you write the things you like they say, out of your mouth into God's ears. Out of your mouth into God's ears. You want to look powerful. It starts with what you're telling yourself. What are you telling yourself? Are you powerful? So you will definitely dress powerful.
Wow.
Definitely. Definitely. Are you peaceful? Do you like peace? You will dress peacefully. You are calm. You have to be in a place of calm. Your dressing will also be calm. And
It's
stylish.
funny. I think people are going to have to take a personality test and the style personality test and then begin to put it together.
Yes.
Now, both of you have talked about the fabrics. You talked about the different styles, even African women really embracing culture in their style. Now, we have laid an amazing foundational piece to start transitioning the conversation into now, how, because they already threw out their clothes because of you, Derek. So how do we begin? Some people are listening to this. They're saying, now I want to change my style. But how do I do it? They're telling me less is more. They're telling me about fabric. They're telling me to throw out my clothes. They're telling me to keep some clothes. They're telling me to take a break. Let's make it all practical now. Let's just talk about building a new wardrobe. Maybe we can call it restyling or rebuilding your wardrobe. Derek, how do we begin?
I think we've alluded to some of the practical steps that you can take. So culling your wardrobe, looking at the pieces that you have. Now, discovering your body type. All right? Everything starts with the body type. What are the appropriate pieces to wear with the body that I have? And by the way, you might look at that body and say, well, I'm going to change it a little bit, maybe, start doing some activity or whatever the case might be. But knowing your body shape, your body type, what works for that, starting to know your skin tone so that you know what colors work with the particular skin tone that you have. And by the way, it's not just one skin tone. We may be 3 people here who are of a particular race, but there's 3 different skin tones going on here. So certain colors are more flattering to that skin tone. It really starts with equipping yourself with that type of knowledge. You need to go out there and start doing the work and equipping yourself with the knowledge. I'll start with body type and I'll start with skin tone. And then beginning to now acquire the pieces that work with that. And by the way, I'm huge on feedback. Wear something, ask your family, how does this look? What do you think? Because that also can inform us in terms of what is working for you and what is not working for you. So I'll start right there. Body type, skin tone, and feedback.
Okay, so I need to ask this about body type because you say body type, but how do I know? How does a person know what their body type is besides saying my hips are too big or, my bust is big? How do people know their body type? Are there certain terminologies? How do they find this out?
Yes, I mean, there's certainly different terminology. In fact, there are, last count, 8, maybe even 12 different body types, from the hourglass to whatever. So you can be specific. And again, a lot of this information is available easily online. Do you have a bigger bust? Do you have bigger hips? Do you have a smaller waist? All of that lends to a particular body shape or body type. And then that informs the type of clothes that will flatter that particular body type. It's all about accentuating the positive and taking away, deflecting from the negative.
So I'm really hearing that K for knowledge as you're talking, right? That this knowledge that you spoke of earlier is really going to be powerful in them beginning it. Okay, Violet, tell me, how do we begin to rebuild our wardrobe?
Knowledge. Knowledge, knowing. You have to know. Just like we start learning to read and write, you need to now make it intentional to know who you are, what your essence is. Where do I want to? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? So whether it's career, where am I going, and how do people dress for where you're going? Dressing for the occasion is very, very important. Very, very important. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So people have now enough knowledge so that they can be empowered. So I'm going to ask you both for your parting shots as we begin to wrap up our show today. Derek, What is the last thing you want to say to our viewers and our listeners today?
I'll go back to what I said in the beginning. We're all made in this image of God. And God made us as perfect human beings. Now, to get back to that, one of the ways that we can get back to that is actually through the clothes that you wear. Your clothes can enhance your beauty, your attractiveness, and that image of God. Start looking at clothes or style as a vehicle for you to achieve your own personal and professional goals. This is a very powerful vehicle. It speaks volumes. And even if people want to say, actually, it's a little bit more about the communication and personality, all of that is seen through the lens of what you're wearing.
Yeah.
You don't know me if I don't open my mouth, but you look at what I'm wearing and you're able to sort of make a quick assessment in terms of, that's the kind of personality or that's the type of person that person is. We were talking earlier about floods and water that has done damage in this country to people's property and houses. That water is so powerful. Those burst banks of those rivers are so powerful because they lead you, it goes in the direction that it wants to go. These clothes are similar to that. Lead people in the direction that you want to take them. If you're a woman, frankly, of any age, you want to lead people in a particular direction. You can shape those perceptions. You can create your own reality. And you can create that reality simply by the visual image.
And Derek, I'm going to ask you to lead people to where they can find you. Where can they find you?
So you can find me easily. My organization is called Public Image or Public Image Africa, if you type that in. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. That's certainly where a lot of professionals find me. And I also have a presence on Instagram and on Twitter.
Right. Some parting shots for you as we begin to wrap things up, and then tell us where they can find you.
Okay, so for me, keep it simple. Keep it simple and stylish. Just be stylish and simple. Yeah. Simple will take you, you don't have to think too hard about being stylish, simple. Let me call it stylish, simple. Yeah. Learn. Keep learning. Keep understanding yourself. And remember, you're not going through something alone. There's so many places that you can get a lot of inspiration from. Whatever it is you're going through, with your styling, with your dressing, talk. Be open, talk, be vulnerable. And you'll get a lot of help. Where can you find me again?
Yes.
I'm on LinkedIn,
Right.
Violet Riungu Moshiri on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. I'm on or X now. It's called X. I'm on TikTok. I'm on IG. But I think on my social media, my name would be Nkada and not Violet. So you can look for Nkada or Violet.
Okay.
Yeah, but on LinkedIn, I'm Violet Riungu.
So I want to say thank you to both of you for coming by today. And for those of you who have been listening and watching, I think some of the takeaways that you can get that you need to know yourself. And from there, everything stems. Remember, your body is the temple. How will you look and how will you represent that temple? Okay, everyone, make sure you have put some comments in there, join the conversation, and we'll see you next time. This is Rise and Shine, and I am Vuyanzi. See you next time.